So we got the truck back up on the hoist so I can continue with the brackets and things like that. Before I move there, I want to make sure that I have the hood right, because this is like a big jigsaw puzzle. So everything's got to fit exactly right together. So my next step is the hood. I went and got some threaded rod that I'm going to make for my supports up here. So this will hold this a little more stable. But here's my hood. So as you can see, this is the 37, which has 3 spots for trims, where the 36 is different, 38 is different. So anyway, I've got the 3 trim holes, which I have the trim. And as you can see, I got them in 2 pieces. I got the left and right piece. So what I did, as you can see here, this piece determines on what kind of hinge holder you're going to have on the truck. So that's the hood. Now the middle piece, here's the middle piece right here. This was the middle piece that came on the truck. And as you can see, I've drilled out all the little rivets to take this off the hood. And you're like, oh, okay, what am I going to do with this? Well, as you can see, it is pretty well shot. It would take a lot of good work to fix that baby. Not that it's not repairable, but a little crazy. So what I did, and I started doing it already, as I have these little bolts here because I have a different piece on there. And let me try to flip this over so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. And here's the piece. It's in rough shape too, but not near as bad as the other. But here's the thing. Look at that, it doesn't fit. Too long here, too long there. I looked at these pieces really close. And here's the other one, I'll compare them. If I matched that up to the end and went to the other end, you can see how much longer the chrome one is. You're like, well, why? I must have got it for the wrong vehicle. Well, that's kind of true. This is actually off of a 36 car. Now I looked at it, and it is the same shape as my original. Physically the same round shape as my original. The difference is it's only longer. All the bolt holes, these rivet holes here that I'm putting bolts in, all line up with my original hood. So that's why I'm bolting this on. I'd rather bolt it on than rivet it on anyway, because I'm going to have this chromed. So now I got to trim this piece, and you can kind of see my little crayon mark here, right about there. I got to trim it on both ends, and you can see I got a little mark here too, and that's exactly where that is. I can see it just a little off there, but I'd rather have it just a little long, because you can always trim a little more off, but you can't trim more on. So that's why I did what I did here. Now my dilemma was the hinge. This is the hinge, but how's it fastened, the hinge holder, to the car or to the truck? There are 2 different styles. One, this piece goes over the end and kind of gets flush right to here, kind of like a hidden holder. That's the same with the other side. Or there's the kind that is the end here, and the hood goes into. That would be like this. This fits into that piece that's mounted on the body and on the nose on each side. So this is where the hinging on the body is going to be. And then this hinges on this. So that kind of makes that butterfly thing go on. So what I have to do is I have to trim this, and I want to fit this hood. One of my problems I have is that I don't have the end pieces to bolt on. Well, I kind of shouldn't say that, because I do have one of my original ones, and I'll show you what that looks like. That is right up here. That piece there, and that's the style I have. The other style doesn't have this curve over the top of it, and it's just like a little hook and a little straight thing here. Does not have this. This piece here matches with the chrome piece that comes off of there. Now, they weren't always, I don't think they were always necessarily chrome. Some were chrome, some weren't. I'm gonna chrome mine. Maybe that's why mine got so rotted it wasn't chrome. I don't really know. But I think there might have been two different types, you know, because people are talking about painting and stuff. Maybe it's just a different year thing. I don't really know. And I don't really care, because I'm gonna chrome mine. So that's what that is. And that also needs to match up right here. This thing, these holes will hold another one of those here. So then my hood can slide into those and then function. So let's see if I can get this thing done, and then we'll just I have to order those. So there's a few different ones out on the market. I got to get this one off first, and then I want to look at it, take a really good look at it to see what I want, and then I'll buy a pair, and then we will, when we get them, I will actually determine the real length of this. So right now I might just trim it off flush, just so I have something to go with, because I know I'm going to have to trim a little more off. The other thing is, on these, underneath here, you can see this angle. That's got to get moved back. But otherwise, you can see all those holes. Well, you can kind of see all those holes line up. So anyway, that's where I'm at on the hood. The hood should hopefully fit. So here is the inside of the hood. I kind of wanted to point out a couple things. I just put some spray on here, some penetrating oil, to try to get this thing to work. It is sticky. So this needs to be like rebuilt. I'll have to rebuild that. And then same here, this one I think works better. The other thing inside this hood, you can see there's another hinge here because there's two pieces to each side of the hood. And there's a pin in here that I want to get out. But I can't really get it out because it's kind of stuck in there pretty good until this gets stripped. And how I'm going to do the stripping on this, there's going to have to be some sort of a chemical stripping. I'm not going to blast or anything like that. This will damage all this metal. It will distort it too much. The other thing I wanted to point out is this must have broke at one time. You see this like poopy weld here, and you can see those little dots. That is, you can see my hand behind it. Those are holes. So I got to get this apart to repair this properly. So that's going to be something that I have to do after I get this thing stripped. Right now, like I said, we're kind of working in the assembly phase, the pre-assembly phase. So I just wanted to show you underneath this to see what it actually looks like. And that way you'll have a reference for when it's done, what it's gonna look like, or what it does look like then. So here's the little hinge holder. You can see it's got kind of a goofy looking little thingy in there. But that's the thing I gotta replace. Now this, like I said, fits in, fits in here like that. So this part of the hood gets held in there. See? So that's what I'm gonna end up replacing. This one isn't, I mean, you could actually fix this one, but I'm not going to. I can show you what I did. I used a Dremel, or a Dremel. I used like a burr bit. I ground it out, and then I took the grinder and just kind of touched it. You can see these screws are still in there because I had cut the heads off because I couldn't get them off. So this is loose, this one's loose, and this one's not. So I got to get those out, or I got to do something that I could put maybe a nutsert or something in there. But that's a different time. I'm not too worried about that right now. My main concern is getting this hood on. So here's the one hood side on. This does not have the chrome trim in the middle on it. This is the other side. This is the driver's side. As I put this on there, I noticed the gaps. See, the gaps in here are not even. Not that I expected them to be. This is pulled out just a little bit because there's a hole there that this locks into. So I'm not locking it in there because it pulls kind of the whole hood kind of down. So then you can see this isn't all the way down here, but you can see this big gap here, which tells me that the nose needs to be pulled back a little bit, which would then help the gaps on the fenders down here. As you can see, I mean, you can see the gap. You see the gap there. So I'm gonna put the other hood side on. But here's the thing. Here's how this hood goes together. See this little rolled piece here? That slides into that little gizmo like I took off on the other side. But the chrome piece is curled also and fits inside here. So this whole hood slides together, so then it makes kind of one piece and a hinging point. So, but I'm not gonna slide this together. I'm just gonna set it on there just to see where we're at and to get a visual of what this thing's supposed to look like. But this is why you put it together before you do all the work. So now I'm putting the other side on. I kind of just put that on top of that, so it's not really hooked up, but you can see where it would, that curl there, it would curl in together, so it would have a hinge. So it's got that little curl part there, goes inside there. It's kind of hard to explain, but. So anyway, this is the other side. This is my passenger side. Now, if you look at the passenger side, gap is getting a little bit better here. Gap is a little bit better here. Is what I mean by that is even. It's more even through here. Can use a little work, of course. Which then also, by putting this one on and kind of, I don't have it straight. So, I mean, some of that has to do with that, but I'm trying to get preliminaries. It kind of straightened out this gap then too. See, that gap's a lot better than what it was. But here's where the problem is, right there. Why? This nose has got to be crooked or something. So this whole thing needs to be shifted back or something. We'll figure that out as we go. But the point is to do it now. But here's what the truck looks like with a hood on it. If I can kind of get back far enough. Gives you an idea. So now this hood thing is going to be a continuation, so it'll take me a while to get the hood right. I gotta get the two brackets to hold it all together. I've gotta, you know, slide things together, test fit, slide them apart, this and that. So it's gonna be an ongoing thing, but right now, I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, needs some adjustment, but that's what I'm here to try to figure out.